What's good? It's your boy Fannon. Welcome back to the channel. All right, I'm going to do another video today, and this one is like, this is a wow. I'm going to go over a conversation that took place on Twitter between Lennox Lewis, Dillian Whyte, and Spencer Fearon, 3 UK black boxers, about what was said by Barry Hearn in a press conference for Dillian Whyte. And in short, it's amazing and ironic that this takes place 2 days after many of the members of the LDBC were essentially trolled by Spencer Fearon. So Black Fight Fan TV put this link up in his Twitter. So now I went and looked at it and I had to get up. I was actually, ironically enough, studying the history of UK boxing. And there's a book right here is the one that I'm reading. It's Boxiana. It is pretty much it's called Boxiana, Sketches of Ancient and Modern Pugilism. It's the history of boxing in the UK from its establishment probably up to 1870. So there's a lot of really good stuff in there. So I was in the mindset to talk about and think about UK boxing. And so when I say this, I think about it in a historical perspective, but looking at the conversation that took place between these guys it's something I really think would not happen in the United States. It wouldn't happen in sports in the United States. I don't believe so. I can always be surprised, but I don't believe so. But let's go over this. Before I do though, the usual. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Hit the bell icon if you subscribe, and definitely check out our live streams that we do in the mornings, and OG Boxing Talk, which we do Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Also check out the Patreon. This conversation right here is very much a Patreon style conversation where we're going to talk about some things connected to boxing, but a little bit outside of boxing. So let's go through it. I'm going to switch screens right now and go to the Twitter thing so that you can see, and then I'm going to share my thoughts about it. Okay, so you see here the Lennox Lewis says, just so wrong on many levels, not quite sure what to say about this. And then he asks Spencer Fearon what his thoughts are. I'm going to try to skip over but Dillian Whyte jumps in and he says, listen carefully to what was said. He said, I broke the chain and the mindset of them days. Lennox Lewis comes in and says, yes, Bredden. Respect for this. The point gets a bit lost in the optics and the analogy, though, I think. My first reaction was, wow. My second reaction was, ugh. And on another note, I see you taking the tough fights. That's the truest road you can walk in this sport. Changes the subject, right? Like, all right, and moves on. Then some people kind of troll. I'll leave the other people out of it, stick to these guys. Master knowledge Spencer Fearon. Now this is ironic to me because I'm not just thinking, I'm reading what he said in the same, and in my mind, I'm recalling what he said about the LDBC the other day, about how we were black power, a bunch of black power people, right? Coming from an apologist. So master knowledge, I should call his ass Massa Knowledge, comes in and says, I found Barry Hearn's analogy in comparison to slavery and the business of boxing irresponsible and insensitive to the millions that were kidnapped from Africa. But I seriously can't call him the R word. Just wish he didn't use that term. Hashtag no cooning. First thing first. If you have to hashtag that you're not cooning, more than likely you are. But let's back up because, and Lennox Lewis points this out, I never called anybody that. Spencer Fearon jumped out to defend it. but I can't call him a racist. I got to tell you, he's just not. He's not. He's a good man. He's a good man. I like him. He shouldn't have said it, but he's a good guy. That's just the quintessential apologist, right? Some other guy comes in and says it's ill-advised, da-da-da-da-da, and moves on, man. Now, clearly I could have a conversation about the fact that there's all these people in the comment section who are going on. Let me jump out of here real quick, but you get the gist of it. You can go to the Twitter page and then you can see that for yourself. But let's jump over here now and get that off the screen. I don't want to look at that anymore. All right, I have a couple thoughts about this conversation. Number one, Spencer Fearon is a straight up apologist. He was apologizing for Barry Hearn without anybody ever saying it about him. Now, however, let's just look at it this way, man. We all saw the video. I'm not playing the guy's video. I'm not going to do that. But we all heard what he said, right? No need to go through it. If you need to go through it, go to the Twitter page, watch it. He jumps up and he talks about being a slave trader, having slave contracts, and how he now has to call Dillian Whyte sir. What if that is not, if you take him at his word, because the only thing you can really judge on is what he says. If that is not racist, what is? Just carry it to its logical conclusion. You say, okay, Spencer, you're apologizing for him. He's not a racist. What would he have had to do in order for me to fairly have considered him that? Does he have to pull out a bullwhip and hit Dillian Whyte on the back? Does he have to, pull out some chains, jingle some chains around and stuff? What does he got to do exactly, man? What do you actually, if somebody cannot listen to what Barry Hearn said and reasonably come to the assumption that he is the R word, if it's unreasonable, some people in the comments said zero R-ism in this, right? Like, it's absolutely ridiculous that Lennox Lewis would believe that was the case. What in the world do you have to do in order to actually be called that and deserve it? Because let me tell you, I've been called that many times on my channel by UK boxing fans for saying that I think Deontay Wilder is going to win a fight. Matter of fact, I do believe that one of the people that assumed that black people in the LDBC were racists was Spencer Fearon, because we think that Deontay Wilder won a fight with Tyson Fury. Isn't that when he said, I don't care what these black power people say, right? He said, and then he said on a voicemail message, by the way, you can check out, I got it on tape. I'm not going to put it out, but I got it on tape. I got it on my computer. I can play it. Where he says 80-90% of these people are pro-black channels, right? Isn't that what you're referring? Like, he's accusing us of reverse racism, which is racism. So I, in the LDBC, according to Spencer Fearon, can think Deontay Wilder won a fight and we are the R word, but Barry Hearn can get on stage, refer to slave contracts and himself as a slave trader, but he's not? Kind of makes you say, It's amazing. It's amazing. Now, let's move on beyond him. I'm telling you, this thing is just so crazy on all levels, man. What is wrong with Dillian Whyte? Dog, I mean, look. First of all, if you just said it and you pressed the issue and you insisted on an apology, you'd be in a better position, man. But just imagine what would have happened. In my mind's eye, I think, what would have happened if Deontay Wilder was on that stage and Shelly Finkel referred to the fact that he used to be a slave trader because he was a manager back in the day, right? And he said, man, this independent contract that that Deontay Wilder, I can't imagine it because, man, we used to have these slave contracts with Mike Tyson. I used to be a slave trader with Mike. We used to be a slave trader back then. Deontay Wilder, you think Deontay Wilder is gonna chuckle? Do you think Muhammad Ali, if Bob Arum said that, would sit there back and just chuckle? And then a couple of days when another great heavyweight champion points out that there's a problem with it, be the first to jump to his defense and say, he was just complimenting me. Man, you guys looking real weak, man. Y'all looking real weak. Y'all looking real scary. Okay? On so many levels, man. Now, I don't know what's going on there in the UK, man. I don't know what's going on in the UK. I know that your boxing history started off as far as black people fighting in the UK prior to 1870. Man, you guys were the place to go, man. Tom Melanois, all these other cats got off those boats. Seamen went over there, made good money fighting, much easier than it was in the United States. And maybe we have a harder shell for it than you guys do. I don't know, but if that's the case, you know, we'd be calling you soft. But I find it very hard to believe that do you realize that Papa John's, that a president of Papa John's lost his job? He founded Papa John's in the United States, and he said something about the black people protesting the national anthem was the reason that his pizza sales dropped, and they got rid of him. You realize this, that as soon as Magic Johnson and these guys heard that Donald Sterling, the president for the Clippers, said the stuff that he said on the phone, that these guys got together and put him off that team. There's no way. I mean, I just have a hard time believing that this type of thing would fly in the United States, man. Really, really do. But just, that's your business. But honestly, man, I really do wonder, man, in the mind's eye, in the mind of Dillian Whyte, and in the mind of Spencer Fearden, what do you have to do in order for them to be considered that? Now, I know from Spencer Fearden what it takes for Blue Blood Sports TV to be that, or for LDBC members to be that. All we got to do is say Tyson. All we got to do is say black guy won the fight. and say, you know, we support black fighters. If I say I support black fighters, I want black fighters to do well, then I'm a racist, right? And I've been called it by these same type of people, and by this guy, not directly, but by implication of him referring to us as Black Power Rangers or whatever he said. But he's the first one to jump out there, man, defending Barry Hearn, man. That paycheck must be nice, fella. That paycheck must be nice. Anyway, it is what it is. With that, I'm out. Peace.